Hello and welcome back to the COVID-19 Economic and Market Impact Series for our June 13th weekly update. I'm Cansu Freeman, Research Assistant for the Center for Regional Analysis. This video series is part of the Northern Virginia Association of Realtors George Mason University Market Forecast Project. Initial claims for unemployment insurance for the week ending June 6th dropped again by about 350,000 from the adjusted 1.9 million in the prior week. Still, more than 1.5 million Americans filed new claims for unemployment benefits last week. We are tracking COVID-19 case counts closely to see if the recent spike in cases will cause some state and local officials to rethink their reopening strategies. The stock market dropped about 6% on renewed fears of a second major spike in COVID-19 that will disrupt our budding economic recovery. Following the same trend, Virginia's new claims for unemployment benefits dropped again by about 30,000. The easing of business restrictions has continued to contribute to the net reduction of initial unemployment claims for the entire state. Northern Virginia, which accounts for about 40% of all statewide activity, is currently moving to Stage 2 recovery, which will allow inside dining at restaurants, large gatherings, and more personal service activities. Anecdotally, we have noticed that road traffic is getting heavier under Stage 1 recovery, but remains well below our usual peak driving loads. Continued claims remain stable for the third week in a row, despite another 1.5 million filing for unemployment. This is further indication that many folks are either finding new jobs or are being recalled to their previous jobs. With almost 21 million workers currently on continuing claims for unemployment benefits, the looming end of the CARES Act special unemployment payments could have a negative effect on the economic recovery. In rough terms, about 9.7 million workers are receiving benefits under the CARES Act program, totaling over $5.5 billion per week. These funds are likely getting injected into regional economies almost immediately for rent, food, and other household purchases. However, like everything else recently, providing workers with extra support has been highly politicized. Virtually all reputable economic forecasters are expecting the economic effects of COVID-19 to last for many months, if not years. Being told to get a job is not a policy response to a pandemic-induced economic crisis. To better track the economy in real time, we are turning to proxy measures that are more readily available than usual government data. One such measure is the number of online job postings produced by Chmura Economics through their JobsEQ database. Here we are seeing the comparison of total job postings for all industries compared to last year. In late March, online job ads dropped notably as business restrictions and stay-at-home orders were implemented. But in May, we started to see the number of job postings pick up substantially and close the gap. Most of the posts were advertising for retail salespeople, restaurant workers, and not surprisingly, registered nurses. The increase in job postings is good news. However, as individuals expand their interpersonal interactions, either through going to work or in social settings, or even eating at a restaurant, epidemiologists expect a second wave of COVID-19 cases that could potentially thwart our efforts for economic recovery this winter, as discussed earlier. New listings in the NVAR service area continue to show signs of resilience and modest strengthening, with a weekly daily peak of 161 homes being brought to the market, the second time it's reached its highest level since the pandemic hit in early March. We are still hopeful that housing activity this summer will be closer to normal with the easing of business restrictions in Northern Virginia. But we are cautiously optimistic given that mortgage forbearance programs are soon to end and the unemployment outlook is forecasted to remain around 10% by the end of the year. Referring to the chart on the right, there seems to be some semblance of usual week-to-week pattern returning for the pending residential sales. Regardless, we can note that new pending sales has remained positive for the last 2 months given the pandemic-influenced market. Be on the lookout for the next issue of Review magazine for our examination of the pandemic's effects on the amount of time it takes to close a contracted sale. Please continue to check out the data, research reports, and other resources available at these websites. As always, we are grateful for your support. Until next time, thanks.